Proud Cat Lover, and today I'm going to be doing a little review on these metal earth insects, and I can't remember the brand. I want to say it's like Fantastic or something like that. I'll have it in the description, I'll have it in the name of the video, so I'll look it up after I'm done making the video. But I wanted to do a little review today for you guys on the two arachnids, which are the tarantula and the scorpion. Then I also have a stag beetle, a dragonfly, and a praying mantis. So I'll show you which one was the easiest for me to put together, and then which ones were the hardest. So first I have the praying mantis, which is pretty cool looking. As you can see here, it looks like this. It's actually pretty cool. The antennas are neat because you can actually bend them to whichever way you want. The legs, the same thing. And it does actually stand up. Can't really show it to you while it's on the ground, but it does stand while you have it. And that one was pretty easy, along with the stag beetle here, which if you guys have been around long enough and saw, I actually made a video of putting this together. And it was actually pretty easy. I was afraid that it wasn't going to be. And with the harder ones that I did, which is the scorpion, I actually had to use super glue. And there was some parts of the spider which I actually didn't even put together. I just kind of bent it into the shape and stuck it on there. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. Just because I was so frustrated I couldn't get it to stay. It was driving me up the wall. And so that's why I'm saying that the praying mantis and the stag beetle were the easier ones that I put together. Middle of the line is my dragonfly. And so you guys know real quick, the stag beetle actually does stand up on its own, like that. And I'll have pictures at the very end of, like, detailed pictures of these so you guys can kind of get an idea. With the dragonfly, it does not stand up on its own because it's too back heavy with its tail and everything. Like, maybe if you were to bend the tail up, but dragonflies don't look like that. So my only criticism for the company, if you know anybody would ever watch this, is if you're going to make insects like a dragonfly or something, then you might want to make the chest or the thorax area a little bit heavier so that it actually can stand up like it showed in the picture. So with the dragonfly, it's middle of the road. It wasn't hard, it wasn't easy. So there are small parts that you have to be very delicate with, especially like with the praying mantis, which I work with insects and stuff, so it's pretty easy for me to be careful. So up next, my scorpion, which actually had the blueprint for the beetle in there. So I actually had to get online, which luckily the website, that's the company's website, actually has blueprints or the layouts of how these get put together. So luckily I was able to get on there and look, but it's kind of more of a pain when you have to look online instead of just being able to use your blueprint, because some people may not know that the website has the blueprint offered, and you just have to kind of figure it out for yourself. And with this, that's something you don't want to do, because this one was pretty challenging. It had a lot of pieces, which I like, because it makes it intricate, it makes it fun, it challenges your brain to actually try. So it's harder, but here's an up-close deal here. Underneath, and what's cool is it has these ridges going on both sides of the tail, just like a scorpion would really have. And then here is the stinger, which is cool, that you can see there. And the scorpion does stand up by itself if you bend the tail at the right angle. If it's bent down too much, then it actually will fall. And what's nice is with the legs, you can kind of move them around a little bit. Now, like I said, I had to actually super glue the legs into place. And there's some pieces here on the back, these parts that are on the ridge here. These little tiny pieces right here that cause that ridge, I had to super glue those as well. Just because the pieces, the little metal fobs, I'm going to call them, I don't really know what they're called, but there's these metal pieces that you bend over to lock the metal into place, and they were too delicate. Like when I would try to bend them over with my needle nose pliers, it would actually bend the entire leg, using the legs for example, because it also would bend these. But it would bend the pieces, and this metal is just so thin that it couldn't handle that, so I just used super glue. And it's nice because super glue holds it there, and because where it's super glue, they aren't going to come off. So unlike the arms here where they move around, these legs do not move. Like, you can kind of tilt them up and down at the tips and stuff, but they're in there. So yeah, there's a scorpion. And then last is the tarantula. And what's cool is because I didn't have to use super glue on the legs, his legs do move around and stuff, so it's cool because you can actually flex the legs and you can choose if you want them completely spread or if you want them pushed together like that. The legs weren't too hard to put together, but if I wanted them to be a little bit stiffer and not wiggle around, I would just use super glue. But I'll show you the part that I didn't lock in, which is the rear here, and I'm trying to find the center of my camera. But these parts here are dome-shaped, and they're actually all supposed to interlock with each other. Well, when I was trying to, and especially right here, I just tucked them in. I didn't actually put them together. The front here was not hard at all. There was some pieces that I didn't do, and I just tucked them as well. But, aside from the fact that I could not get these to go together, this was relatively pretty easy to put together, pretty straightforward. There wasn't a whole bunch of pieces you had to worry about. Aside from that, it was pretty easy to put together, but of course I would not suggest getting these for like a 10-year-old kid, unless your kid is like really careful, because I probably cut my fingers about 20 times just putting this spider together, because when you take the wire clippers, because that's what I use, they're the ones that have the tips that you just snap like that and they cut metal, that's what I use to remove the pieces out of the sheet. And it leaves little sharp edges on the metal, and I don't know if I can find something for an example, but it's going to be really hard for you guys to see. But there is a piece, let me see if I can spot it, yeah, it's this little piece right here that's shining, that piece there. That piece is a piece of metal that sticks off, and I actually cut my fingers, like I said, about 20 times just working on this. I cut my finger even more working on the scorpion. And when I did the stag beetle, these mandibles right here, these parts here are extremely pokey, and there's parts that you have to work with along here. So you're constantly having to hold on to the mandibles and to be able to fit these pieces along the sides so that it would be all the way. And yeah, that's the one thing you have to be careful about. I don't think you could wear gloves just because you have to be able to manipulate the metal with your hands. So that's one thing that I don't really like, is the fact that you cut your fingers a whole bunch. But aside from that, yeah, I would definitely suggest the Metal Earth to any teenagers, to adults that would enjoy having little figurines, I suppose you could call them, that are made out of metal, that are very cool. And I'll try to kind of show you guys the whole collection here one more time. So here's the tarantula. And I think that the tallest one that stands up would probably be the praying mantis here. It stands at about 2 inches. So they're not real big, as you can see from my hand. And like I said, the only thing I wish is that the dragonfly could actually stand up in this position like that and be maybe a little bit heavier in the thorax. But I will say that if you guys like insects like me, that they actually have made butterflies that are metal, and the wings are actually colored. If you get on their website, which like I said I'll put in the description, you can actually see that there's, I believe, 7 or 8 different butterflies, which is really cool. There's the monarch, there's a buckeye butterfly, there's a pipe vine swallowtail, pardon me guys, there's a comma butterfly, there's a tiger swallowtail, and there's a couple others, a red spotted purple, a morning cloak. They're really pretty butterflies, so I definitely would suggest, if you guys like insects and you like little metal crafts that you can put together, then I would definitely suggest checking them out. I'm hopefully going to try to find a website, maybe Amazon, maybe eBay, somewhere where I can actually get them, because the website, sadly, that makes these doesn't actually sell them off of their website. They just are kind of previewing them. So that's the one sad thing. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.